I think the study will be a critical input to how we think about the supply chain going forward. Obviously, there is a big opportunity for rail, particularly for import containers, and there is a lot of investment already happening in this space. We can use the study findings to work with intermodal operators, distribution centres and cargo owners to identify opportunities for rail mode shift once the infrastructure is in place. I also think there might be some opportunities to bring some activities closer to the port, to modify our thinking on how the supply chain might work, and to take unnecessary freight movements off our road networks.
We, as consumers, aren't showing any indication that our drive for consumption is going to slow in the near future. As I mentioned, we're at 13% now of e-commerce as a percentage of total retail sales. That's forecast to be at a minimum of 20% by 2025. So that's going to continue to drive a high level of import cargo, particularly through the Port of Melbourne. It is a major gateway for importers, and it'll be critical to be able to feed that distribution then through the port, out through the transport infrastructure.
Rail plays a very significant role in the future for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, we collectively have to decarbonize the transport sector if we are to meet the net zero emission target by 2050. And a train plays a very important role, taking trucks out of the road. So we're certainly very, very concerned to see that rail doesn't get its fair share. And that's why we are watching the development of the Inland Rail program, but also calling out for the Victorian government to increase the momentum around the development of rail intermodal terminal. The 30-year strategy transmitted to Parliament last week was very clear that the Western Intermodal Freight Terminal was a preferred site to be proceeded for the reasons that are very clearly explicited in your report, and that is that the West plays a growing and significant importance in the freight, both from an import and export perspective. So we feel it is very important to gather momentum in respect of delivering the Western Intermodal Freight Terminal, whilst at the same time continuing to plan for the Beveridge one, which will be critical in the context of the Inland Rail. But we definitely need to do everything we can from a government point of view and a private sector point of view to see the market share of rail being significantly increased.
We are incredibly lucky in Melbourne to have such an exciting part of the supply chain operation nestled right almost in the heart of the city. And I think it provides an opportunity to really connect a lot of the business activities to the port. The challenge comes in as our consumption increases, as volume increases. There's a need to also balance that with a growing population, growing trade, growing activities of folks and communities that would be very close to the port and adjacent to the port.
Over a decade has passed since the original study, and I'm proud that Port of Melbourne has continued the stewardship and leadership role of the port by refreshing the study. We all know that a lot happens in a decade. Intuitively, we can see what's happening in the supply chain, industrial warehouse development, and changing truck movements. But we need real data to support our strategic and infrastructure decision-making. That's what this study provides, and that's why we are making the findings public. Information sharing and robust data will better inform all of our decisions to make the port freight supply chain more efficient.